Hello everybody, welcome to my very wonderful channel Bootcamp Billionaire #1. Welcome to my very wonderful channel Bootcamp Billionaire #1. You're welcome to subscribe to my channel. You're welcome to ask me whatever you like. And furthermore, I'm your host for tonight. Now, for very first, my Bootcamp Billionaire channel is all about how to become financially independent, how to achieve greatness financially by becoming a billionaire. Set your mind to become a billionaire. Focus on the journey. See it as a journey for very first. See it as what is the value? What is money? What is friendship? What is family? What is it to have a wonderful, great wife? For very first, I'm gonna give you a little explanation when it comes to me. I started very young to work at the age of 15 as a gardener. I did garden work, I worked in the kitchen, I worked as a waiter, I did all sorts of jobs, I worked in a market and opinion research company, and I tell you something more, I wasted a lot of money. I went to Prada, I went to Chanel, I went to, I did all those things like, to waste my money on women. When it comes to women, like, women, those women you only attract when you have big time money. You need to understand it was a wonderful experience, but if you get to the point to experience what value is, what value investment is, you are financially big independent. For very first, you need to understand what it takes to become rich. Richness means there are only two fundamental rules. Rule number one, do not waste a single dollar. Rule number two, care when it comes to rule number one. That's basically all you need to understand when it comes to be financially big, independent. And then you need to understand, sometimes it takes a long period of time. Let's say it doesn't happen overnight, sometimes it takes like, let's say 3 to 4 or 5 years, sometimes 10 years or 20 years, it depends how you're how you are patterned psychologically. But the very first thing I want you to understand is you are surrounded all the time by very miserable people. All those miserable people are telling you you're not gonna make it, you are not educated enough, you are whatever, they come around with all those sort of reasons not to make it big, everybody's telling you. So I stress all the time, only waste your time with those beautiful people, like, I know you're gonna make it, I know it's gonna be difficult, but I see it in your eyes, you are about to make it. I know you're gonna do everything, you're gonna read every single book to make it big in life, So basically, surround yourself only with those people who uplift something in your life, that is a value. Surround yourself privately with valuable people, in a sense, like, to give you a good feeling. Yeah, I'm kind of like down, and that kind of wonderful friend, that is kind of a value. That is a value to have a wonderful friend, even you're kind of like really down. And there are tons of those people. That is not a value to have those people like, no, you're not gonna make it, it's gonna be difficult, blah, 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 whatever. Now, I'm gonna tell you something about me. I'm very addicted when it comes to art, fashion, and, I love all sort of things, so I like visual things, visual art, visual beautiful things, so beautiful clothes, everybody, or a lot of people, not only me, are into that, but I needed to understand to see for very first the value in all those things, like, a value is, for example, you earn a big money, you waste big money. It's not a value to go to whatever, like, you earn big money, like all those sports celebrities, and immediately you say, let's take for example Mr. Mike Tyson. Mr. Mike Tyson, everybody knows his story, his tragic story. It's like, wasting a lot of money, earning big money, earning $300 million, and he was unable to keep it. Everybody surrounded him, like telling him what to do, how to spend his money, how to behave, in an appropriate way. But when it comes to save money, nobody was around to tell him, Mike, what? It's better not to waste your money on that. It's better not to waste your money on that stupid woman, lady, or whatever, So nobody said he was in an environment without a value. So nobody came around to teach him, how to handle the money side, And so I stress all the time, surround yourself only with valuable people, So it means basically, get rid of, let's take for example, 100 people, and you need to get rid of 99 people. That's basically the game, unfortunately. The thing is, I went also to a very tough period of time to realize what real value means, There's nothing important in the world than to have something to eat on the table, I went through the period of time, nothing to eat on the table. And there's not I remember being really financially broke, before, I had big money, I wasted all of that money, and then I needed to restart again. And it was kind of you need to understand, having something to eat is really valuable. Having a place to sleep, even if it's a tiny, small space, that is a value, and having good friends, that is a value, for example, or a great, fantastic wife, that is a very good value. Now, what do I mean by value when it comes to create bigger financial stakes? For example, if you want to buy a company, watch out for a company. For example, I invested my money, for example, with Berkshire Hathaway. If you do not know what Berkshire Hathaway is, or who Mr. Warren Buffett is, you're welcome to Google Mr. Warren Buffett. I'm gonna do an extra video only on Mr. Warren Buffett. He is one of the greatest investors of all time. He lives in the States. He's one of the, I guess, the second richest guy or the third richest guy on the planet. And he goes by the rule created by Mr. Benjamin Graham. And Mr. Benjamin Graham that's inventing some value investing, how to see companies from a different angle, from a complete different perspective. And one of his rules is, for example, do not waste a single coin. You need to understand that if you see Mr. Warren Buffett on the street, you would never recognize, never think in a million years he's the second richest man on planet Earth. Never in a million years you would never consider that, So he's very down to earth, based on the fact he knows what value is. Even he owns a private jet, big size private jet as Mr. Donald Trump. But he knows what value is. That is the most important thing. It's not to make money on the very first instance, for example, to become rich is not that kind of big deal. To stay rich, to stay a billionaire, to stay, on the level of Mr. Bill Gates, to stay on that level, that is one of those fundamental rules. And let's go to Mr. Bill Gates, He came kind of from a very rich background, and he was kind of so he's a genius when it comes, everybody knows who Bill Gates is. But what I wanted to tell you, value, he has been married to a very normal, decent wife, a very normal, decent woman, not like those pin-up Russian beauties, based on the fact he has a lot of money, he can afford to have such a beautiful, let's say, pin-up lady. But in his mindset, he already knows, he's brilliant, he knows, for example, Bill Gates knows, look, back in those days, I was kind of like, financially stable, but not that big time of a billionaire. So in his mindset, it's like, now I'm a billionaire, and what do I need a Russian pin-up beauty for what reason? So that is Mr. Bill Gates, wonderful Mr. Bill Gates. Praise the Lord, Mr. Bill Gates, And you need to understand that is a value, that is a structure to think in a valuable structure. You need to understand that. And furthermore, I want you to understand that those guys, Mr. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, are kind of like really down-to-earth people. You need to understand that to become financially independent is to stick to your idea, to save every single coin, And rule number care when it comes to rule number 1. That's all you need to understand when it comes to be financially independent. Many people, let's say normal millionaires, think all the time like, it's very important whatever to do, I'm gonna go deeper. I'm gonna get deeper and deeper and deeper, into the mindset of a billionaire. What is a billionaire? What is the game of a billionaire? But you need to be driven. Read as much books as you can. Use Google. We live in a very wonderful, fortunate time. We have books around. If you see a name, for example, Susan Gottfreund. I know that. I guess that is the pronunciation. Susan Gottfreund. I'm gonna spell the surname: G as Germany, U as United, T as Tom, F as friend, R as Richard, E as East, U as United, N as North, D as Dora. And you need to understand that lady, Susan Gottfried, for example, I wasn't aware of her for a long period of time, Then I started to read the book written by Mr. Warren Buffett. And then, I used Google and so, okay, that is the lady. She worked formerly as a stewardess in an airplane machine, and she married then that kind of husband, and you need to understand, it's all written in books. Everything is written in books. If you have a problem, ask me. If you do not know anything, if I do not reply on time, read a book. If I do not reply on time, use Google. You can ask me whatever you want. You need to see me as your future billionaire builder. Ask me whatever you like. I want to share all my experience. It's like one little thing to make big money. It's one little thing to have big money, to keep it. But at the end of the day, we are all human. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.